there, and I'm sitting in the van, and they're like waiting, like the driver's on the phone with someone, and then Coringa is like looking back at me with his like sunglasses on. He's like has this just plastic bag just filled with like a million chargers and like so many wires. He's like, you need a cable? I got this cable, I got that cable, I got that cable. And Jose's like, do you read the Bible? And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? He's like, I got the New Testament, I got the Old Testament. I'm like, and they're like,
Chloe's taking the cable,
and they're
to
just
fucking
like,
hang
and
herself.
then
Give
they're
me
like,
the cable,
and,
Jose.
the opening line is like, so what's your DOC? Drug and Detroit, that's what everyone fucking talks about nonstop. And so, and then Jose, I'm like opening a water bottle. He goes, alcohol, you got alcohol in there, you got alcohol. And then I'm just like, I'm not fucked up enough to
for
be
this
in
ride
because we're going to West Hampton, so it's gonna take like 3 hours from the city. So then I say to the driver, I'm like, oh my god, I forgot my wallet in my apartment. You know, and he's like, okay, Chloe, go back and get it. And he's parked like around the corner because there's no parking. So then he's like, okay, be quick. So then I'm like, all right. So then I go out of the car and I run to the liquor store and I go and I buy like 2 bottles of like vodka and I put them in whatever I don't know, whatever. And then I go back in the car and I'm like, oh, I got it. And then I'm like in the 3rd row, and we're just like drinking the vodka, and then I'm like giving him whatever. And then me and
this is how you're supposed to. So when you are an alcoholic, this is how you're supposed to go to rehab. This is how you're supposed to.
Yeah,
do
you got to
it.
be blacked out to
Yeah.
be there.
Yep.
You can't if you don't show up to rehab fucked up. You're not doing it right.
Yeah.
And
I thought you guys were serious for a second. You guys?
We're dead serious.
We're being serious.
Yeah. This is like saying with heroin, if you're not
coming in.
Well, no, heroin, they want you sick.
Yeah, they want you sick.
For insurance, right?
Yeah. So they could keep you. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, so then we get in the van and we're getting like all fucked up. They're talking nonsense. Jose and Coringa are talking about the opium trade in the 1800s, like, and they're like, you know, the heroin hasn't been the same since the 1800s, and I'm like, you guys
back in the Sumerian
they're
time.
like back in the 1800s, the heroin was
plant.
much better. I'm like, you guys are. I have like videos on my phone of them, and I'm like, this is insane. So then we're just annoyed. The driver is like so annoyed at us. We leave the city at 1:00 in the afternoon.
Does he know you guys are drinking back there?
He doesn't even care.
He doesn't
give a shit because he's just like doing his job.
Yeah.
He knows we're all like retarded. Yeah. And so then we're like, can we stop? Like, I have to pee. So he takes us, first we stop like somewhere in like Queens. We just make it only to Queens at first. And so we're like, we need to stop. We need to pee. So we stop in Queens. He pulls over. Immediately, we all disperse.
Like roaches. Lights come on.
Coringa goes to a liquor store.
Uh-huh.
He buys because he refuses to drink vodka from me. He said he needs to get Jack Daniels or something or Jameson.
He only drank dark.
He goes to get Jameson.
Yeah.
Jose has the bowl. He starts like smoking. First he smokes us up, and we're all like hitting his bowl. But he's like he does like opiates or something. So he was like whatever. And we're hitting his bowl. And then me and Jose go to a comic book shop, and we start shopping for comic books. Coringa comes back with his like whatever. And then they're like blocking me behind like parked cars while I'm peeing. And then the driver's calling me. He's like, where the fuck are you guys? You need to come back.
How long were you gone for?
Like a half hour probably at this time. And he's like, where the fuck are you guys? Where are you guys? And we're like, oh, okay, yeah, we're coming back. And he's like, Jesus Christ. So we get back in the van, and he's like, all right, okay, fine. So then we go back in the van. He's really kind of annoyed. But so we keep driving maybe for like another hour or whatever. And then I'm like, then we have to stop for gas. And I'm like, I have to pee. And then we stop for gas at a gas station. And we're like, can we go inside and get snacks? And he's like, okay, fine, guys. So we go inside. He goes to start getting gas. We all like go behind. We like buy beers and we go behind the gas station and we start shotgunning beers and like start chugging the alcohol and stuff. And they're like blocking me while I pee again. We're hitting the bowl.
You're fucking smashed at this point, right?
We're all retarded. And then we go back in the van.
Smelling like weed.
And then he's getting really mad again.
Yeah.
Then another time we convince him to stop, and we're like, we're hungry. He's like, I'm not fucking doing this again. But he's like, fine. So we get him to stop at McDonald's. Mm-hmm. We're like, we're really hungry. And by this point, it's 6 o'clock at night. It's like already taken over 5 hours.
Wow.
For a 2-hour ride.
I would want.
We ran away twice.
I would have crashed that van if I was.
We ran away 2 times. So we get him to stop at McDonald's, and at McDonald's, then we go into McDonald's, and I run away from McDonald's because they didn't have alcohol there, and I ran away, and the liquor store was closed, so I ran into an Asian restaurant, and I started taking shots of sake at the bar.
Nice.
Are you? Chloe, That is fucking.
Yeah, that's a whole
And
other
then-
level.
And then he wouldn't let me stop for the bathroom again, so I peed on the floor of the van. And
Yo.
Clip the story.
Clip it. Yeah.
well, I don't really know if we want the pee story in it, but
No, we want that.
Yeah.
As a high note.
Peeing is a running gag here.
is it?
Yeah,
It's a
that's
very
the last
girly thing to do.
No.
I think. But he was so mad.
I mean, a guy could pee in a bottle.
To
And
pee.
and because Coringa.
So there's this piss rolling around
and
the
Coringa
floor of
wasn't
the
allowed.
van now.
Coringa wasn't allowed to because of our behavior. Coringa wasn't allowed to speak again because he wouldn't shut up, and he's like, "No more stories, Coringa." And then Coringa was like, Coringa also ran away at one point to go buy scratch offs. And because another time in the van, he ran away and he was like, "Sorry, man, like my real drug of choice is scratch offs."
Yeah. Yo, it'd be the lifestyle for me, man.
And then he said, "I'm really sorry." And he was like, "I could lose my fucking job. I feed my wife and kids. I could lose my job because of you pieces of shit." And Coringa goes, "Hey man, I'm sorry for you almost losing your job. I won $2."